In this problem, we are using the power-reducing identities or power-reducing formulas for trig. And these formulas right here, they come in handy when you've got a power of sine, cosine, tangent, or cotangent, and you want to rewrite it in terms of the first power of cosine. All of these come out to first power of cosine. So we've got in this particular problem the sine squared of x times the cosine squared of x. And really all we have to do is take this chunk, which stands for sine squared, and this chunk, which stands for cosine squared, and multiply them together. It says u in the formula, and that's because you could have something other than x in here. You could have 2x or 5x or x over 2. So in this case, we plug in x for u. But if there was something different in this spot, we'd plug in that different thing where it says u. All right, well, let's write this out. So sine squared x is 1 minus the cosine of 2x over 2. And we're multiplying that by the cosine squared, so that's 1 plus cosine 2x over 2. And now we need to just multiply these together and simplify. When we multiply fractions, we multiply across the top and across the bottom. Bottom's pretty easy. 2 times 2 is 4. The top, well, you could FOIL that out. There are two binomials there. Or you could notice that these are conjugates. So 1 minus the cosine of 2x times 1 plus the cosine of 2x is going to give us a difference of squares. So this is going to be the first term squared, 1 squared, which is just 1, minus the second term squared. And the cosine of 2x squared is cosine squared of 2x. It seems like we've run into a little bit of a problem here. We substituted in with our formulas, and then we did our multiplication and tried to simplify, and we ended up with a cosine squared. And we want this answer to be in terms of the first power of cosine. That's what the problem is telling us. Well, what do? We simply take this cosine squared and apply the power-reducing formula again. So this chunk, we're going to replace with this. We have to be a little bit careful, though, because instead of x, we have 2x now. So it's 2x that goes in for u there. So we have to remember that. Let's rewrite this whole fraction. So I've got 1 minus, and then we're going to have 1 plus the cosine of 2u. And u is 2x, so 2 times 2x. And that all goes over 2. That's the top of the fraction, and the bottom of the fraction is still 4. So let's do a little simplification here. This chunk is just 4x. And then let's get rid of this fraction by multiplying the whole thing by 2 over 2. On the top, I have to multiply this 2 by the 1, so it's going to give me a 2 there. And then I have a minus. Here, it just gets rid of the fraction, so I have 1 plus cosine 4x. And on the bottom, I have 4 times 2, or 8. All right, we can simplify a little more. 2 minus 1 is just 1. So I've got 1 plus the cosine of 4x over 8. And let's take a minute to look at our answer choices. They're trying to make this easy on us. They're giving us multiple choice, first of all, although the multiple choice just allows us to choose the form of our answer, how many terms, and whether we have pluses or minuses. And then we have to fill in the coefficients. It looks like we have 2 terms here. We've got, if we separated this out, it would be 1 over 8 plus the cosine of 4x over 8. And it's a plus, so it looks like it's going to be this one. And I would put 1/8 here. And and then we have to multiply something by the cosine of something. So cosine of 4x over 8 is 1/8 times the cosine of 4x. So that is a little bit of work with power-reducing identities.